Tim Roberts, Executive Director for BNI New Hampshire, Florida Central, and Florida Northeast. I want to welcome you to our video series on getting to know some of our members across our regions. I think it's important to highlight our different members and get to know the different stories and experiences that are out there. For those who are in BNI, it's always great to learn. And for those who may be looking at BNI, it's also a great way to learn a little bit about what we're doing and what our members are doing together. Hopefully you enjoy this. If you do, share it. If everybody likes it, maybe we'll continue to do a bunch of them. With me today is Shawn Tennis from Injury Law Center. He is a member in our New Hampshire regions, part of the BNI Four Seasons Partners chapter in Londonderry, which is nice and close to me. I live in Salem, so we're only about 20 minutes away from each other, which is awesome. Shawn joined BNI in 2020, so right in the middle of this whole COVID situation. And actually, so much so, you kind of came into BNI 2.0, if you will, in that sense, right? So, for those who are unaware, BNI runs weekly networking meetings. And for the first 36 years of our existence, those were all completely live weekly meetings. And then, due to COVID, in March of 2020, we had to shift everybody to an online format. And then, Shawn, I think when did you join again? I know you were in a brand new chapter. So, your official start date's different, but when did you actually visit and decide to join BNI?
Sure. So I joined in May of 2020.
May. All right. So you were right there, right at the beginning kind of stages in the midst of the craziness of the COVID situation. So you're completely online, right? Oh, your entire experience has been online at this point?
Yep, everything's been online so far.
Very good. I know a lot of our chapters are working towards moving back to or deciding, on the live meeting format they're going to be, but your entire chapters really never met live, which is actually kind of interesting. Maybe a couple members early on, but so I'm going to talk to you about that, but let's start with first, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business. And then I've got some questions just kind of on your experiences so far.
Sure. So as you mentioned, my name is Shawn Tennis with the Injury Law Center. I'm a personal injury attorney based out of Nashua, New Hampshire. I'm licensed in New Hampshire and Massachusetts. And I handle all types of personal injury, car crashes, slip and falls, medical malpractice, wrongful death. We handle from the small to the large and everything in between. And I'm always looking to connect with healthcare providers, really chiropractors, physical therapists.
Yeah.
I like connecting with people that are usually involved in the process that I'm a part of.
And that makes a lot of sense. Strong contact spheres, definitely a lot of them throughout BNI. How did you first come to hear about BNI? Had you known about it before you were invited, or is it just from the invite to that startup group?
Yeah, it was really right from the invite. My boss, the senior attorney, was actually the one that got the invite, and he forwarded it to me and was essentially, you should check this group out. Explained a little bit to me, and I just logged on to the first weekly meeting and essentially told everyone, I don't know what this is, but I hear it's a good thing, and I'm here to learn.
Yeah.
And fortunately, the chapter were very welcoming, brought me right in, and I actually think joining the startup chapter, I didn't do any networking before. I think joining the startup chapter really was a good introduction for me into BNI and the whole process, and learning it along the way, kind of with everyone else, with a launch director, kind of with us from week to week at the beginning, kind of leading the way, keeping us on track and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's kind of how I got my start in it.
I think it makes a lot of sense, right? For those who don't, a lot of people aren't aware, anyways, because they either visiting or part of existing chapters. Our startup chapters do a lot of work, and they go through a lot of steps to get to they kind of have the right to be a BNI chapter. It takes a lot of focus on growth and foundation building, but the benefits of that is additional time, additional training, like you said. Everybody's kind of learning at the same pace. You're not the new kid in school, so that probably was a huge benefit. Now, what was your initial opinion, though? I think it was different for everybody around the world at that time to be networking in an online format. What was your immediate impressions of that? Did you have any concerns? How did that go for you?
Sure. So I actually got licensed to practice law in 2015, and I've been telling everyone I've connected with in BNI so far that I didn't really start my networking until I joined BNI,
Okay.
and I found it to be a very first of all, it was very convenient being online. Everything was shut down, and we were all working from home. I was working from home. I've fortunately been back at the office since, but it was really hard to kind of have that out of the house exposure to people, and having a group of people to meet every week was really nice for that social aspect of not
Yeah.
to get to talk to people. Um, but I've really enjoyed it. And again, it was being with the smaller chapter. I liked that it wasn't walking into a giant room of people at first. I'm very outgoing and very easy to get along with people, but even that can be a little intimidating sometimes. So being able to just log onto the screen, mute myself if I need to or something. If my 2-year-old runs by, it was really convenient and in a nice introduction, really.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it definitely has these efficiencies, right? I think a lot of people are starting to realize, like, oh, you can be in a meeting and out of the meeting pretty quick, no travel. But it's definitely different, especially for our members who have been meeting weekly. And like you said, it can be challenging if you walk in and there's 50 video cameras looking at you on that first time. So that startup definitely helped. But you said now, I think your chapter is probably having some discussions about what it's going to be like to actually go to have some live meetings and start interacting with each other in the same room. You looking forward to that?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I would really myself like the hybrid model where you kind of do half and half, so or at least one live meeting a month and then other virtual, because I love the convenience of the virtual. It's just so easy, but I would love I love face to face contact. I'm an attorney. I like everything to be face to face, but
Right.
it makes it so much more efficient and easier to stay connected and make every meeting. I mean, one of my first weeks in my first year, I was at Lake Winnipesaukee, but didn't have to miss the meeting. I mean, I
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's
an hour
actually
and a half. It was nice and easy to just squeeze right in and back to vacation right after.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. One of the challenges I think a lot of people concerns they have around BNI is the fact that we are a weekly meeting, right? So once a month or every other week. And for those who are unfamiliar, that's the magic of it all, really, is the consistency. It's the only way you speed up the process of developing the right relationships to get the tangible results. And we were excited. Nobody was excited about COVID happening, obviously, and what happened to the world. What we were really proud of is the fact that the organization globally, but even more importantly, locally, was able to innovate and be able to keep that going. Right. And so even though it went in an online format, it wasn't by design. It wasn't by like choice that we had some grandiose plans. COVID caused that to happen, but that innovation now has opened up opportunities for future innovations, like you said, whether it's different meeting models or stuff like that, or combining online and live. You live in New Hampshire. I live in New Hampshire. We have these things that happen in the winter called snowstorms, right? That would cause a lot of chapters to miss the opportunity to further. Now we'll never have to worry about that again, and it's just because of these forced innovations. So we're pretty excited about that. And obviously, we're excited to see what you do. You early in your BNI tenure, really. I know you're coming up on kind of a year, but some of that was with starting the group and everything else. So your chapter's really getting going. What has been, would you say, the best benefit for you of being part of BNI? And then also, what has been like maybe the number one thing that you've learned, whether it's about networking or yourself or anything, since being in BNI?
Sure. So I think the biggest takeaway I've gotten, the biggest change is it's adjusted my mindset to thinking about everything differently, from a family member to a friend to a client to, just somebody else I'm speaking to. I now consider how, I can help this person or how I can connect this person to another. It really brought the whole networking piece. It made it much more tangible for me, where it seemed really hard at first. And I've gone to different chamber of commerce events, which are great, but you don't see them that often. But like you said, the consistency of the week to week, it really helped. It's a weekly reminder of essentially for me everything I should be doing. I try to follow the power of one report and hit all those numbers as close as I can. The visitors, as you always talk about, is always the most difficult part
Right.
to keep consistent. But it's really changed the way I look at things and the way I value relationships and the value of having different people for different problems. as an attorney, I specialize in personal injury, but I see people with a host of different issues that come into my office. And it's just amazing, if somebody's having an ache or pain, to say, I got a couple chiropractors you can go, check into. Or I had a client that came to me without health insurance, and she had a referral for physical therapy and had no clue what to do, and was essentially asking me what to do. And I said, look, here's the health insurance person you should call, and here's the physical therapist you should call.
Hey,
And the value that creates is just amazing. As long as you commit to the process, I should say. Because I've been doing a lot of one-to-ones, and I think that's been my key to success. Is I visited a few chapters. I'm fortunate in the career position that I'm in, that there aren't a lot of personal injury attorneys in BNI, which still surprises me a little bit, because
right.
I think it's great, a lot of opportunity, but I've been able to visit chapters, but I always make sure to follow up for one-to-ones and always get back to people. If I say I'm going to connect somebody to somebody else, I always, even if I'm a week late, I make sure I send out that intro email. So I think one-to-ones are probably, that's really where you build those connections. And it's nice to have a name, but when you know that person at least a little bit, something a little bit more to hold on to, it just adds that much more to it.
It really does. And you hit on a lot of key things there, right? The consistency of it, about building your network, not just for the direct, tangible results back, but becoming more valuable and a bigger resource to your friends and family and clients that will ultimately grow your business as well. And I love the part too, right? That it's about what you put into it. That's why it's called network, not net sit, net eat, net socialize, right? Like people forget that part of it. I always use the gym analogy. Joining a gym doesn't get you in great shape. Going and like using the gym, tends to get you in good shape. And BNI is
Right.
no different, right? Just joining a network doesn't get you everything you want, but if you use it and use it right, and there's a variety of different types of networking out there. You should be doing all kinds of different types. We're just one that fits in really well. So that's really, really good advice. So I want to thank you, obviously, for becoming a part. We will look forward to following your journey, as it now you're that, again, that unique breed where your journey is going to transition into live meetings. Most of them had to transition into online meetings. So I'm excited to see what your chapter does with that opportunity. And as we wrap up, why don't you share again one more time, what's a great referral for you, and how can people connect with you if they want to do a one-to-one or something?
Sure. So, great referrals for me are, of course, someone that's been injured in New Hampshire, Massachusetts. That's the easy one to think of. But I like to connect in the health and wellness side of things: chiropractors, physical therapists, massage therapists, personal trainers. They're all great benefits to my client, and we can find a good reciprocal relationship. And then, as far as finding me, I'm of course in the BNI app. I have all my information updated in there. Also, injury-law-center.com, and office number is 603-883-4100. And email is stennis@ilcnh.com.
Awesome. So Shawn, thank you again for sharing your story, and look forward to following, and we should connect. We'll do a one-to-one soon.
Awesome. Sounds good, Tim. Thanks so much.
Thank you.